So yesterday, an account I follow on Instagram posted this screenshot of someone else's post about the ridiculousness of, oh, we can't have drag shows because I can't explain it to my kids when we have kids going through active shooter drills, which is a little more important. And I replied how I was excited about finally finding an all ages drag show that I can take my kids to, because even though here in Portland there's tons of drag shows, finding ones that are open to kids is actually really hard. And a big part of that is because of right-wingers labeling all drag shows as sexual, even though 99% of them aren't. And what was interesting to me is that I got this response from apparently a woman. It's a pretty typical one I get from conversations about anything having to do with feminism or whatever. I get these women with internalized misogyny who think the fact that I talk about topless equality or whatever is a sign that I don't know, whatever, you know. But what's especially interesting about this topic, as I replied, you know, yes, sarcastically, like, yeah, thank you for noticing that I focus on I highlight the absurdity of gender-based censorship, is the way it relates to drag shows in general, because people like this are obviously right-wing. I mean, they're replying in sarcastic anger to me saying that I'm excited to take my kids to a drag show, so clearly they're anti-drag. Clearly they are of the camp that says that drag shows are always sexual, so they're pretty much guaranteed to be right-wing. Another common sentiment among right-wingers is that there's no such thing as trans people. You know, any drag performer that's assigned male at birth is just a man in a dress. So it begs the question, if right-wingers think that all drag shows are sexual, but they're also transphobic and think that any drag performer can only be a man in a dress, does that therefore mean that male nipples are allowed even in drag shows without it being considered sexually explicit nudity? Since of course men are allowed to show their nipples literally fucking any platform, any public space without it being considered sexually explicit nudity. Wouldn't that therefore mean that people like this think that it's not sexual for a mab drag performer to have his, according to them, his nipples out? Is that not therefore not sexual? Also, this one just cracked me up because the image for my profile in Instagram is clearly me sarcastically being like, "Arr!" But this transphobic person is so steeped in internalized misogyny that they couldn't tell a clearly sarcastic picture because they're used to just trying to be as sexy as possible in their picture. I don't know. It just cracked me up.